Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Nutty Fruit Hollow. This is pre-day of jacking up the house. We're jacking up the house tomorrow, so today is the day that we just make sure we have all of our T's crossed, our I's dotted. Just go through everything one more time, just to make sure that everything's good. So, a couple of things that I've done is printed out all of the engineering specs and stuff to make sure that everything is what it's supposed to be. We will go through and just make sure that the numbers and everything are good where we're putting the posts. We have just decided this morning, that I was looking up to see if we can lap joint an LVL beam. We were thinking about lap joining it. And one of the things is that when we originally had thought of jacking up the house, and we were going to jack up the house, we were going to put the beam all the way across the entire span of the basement, which is 28 feet. So it is impossible for me to get a 28-foot beam all one piece on the top of my car and actually get it home. Yes, I know I could get it delivered, but delivery was going to be like another $300, $400, $500 because it would have to defrate. Might even been more than that. So I ended up getting the beam. What they ended up doing is they split the beam in half, and they did 18 foot on one and 10 foot on the other. Is that right? 18 and 10. So we got a 10-foot LVL and we got a 18-foot LVL. And then we decided, okay, well, we really didn't need to do that one side. And by doing that and putting it all the way across means that we had to stay on the outside of that chimney, which is basically almost in the middle of the room. So, and that would have caused a lot more other headaches. And when we were looking at going that way, some of the headaches is that all of the floor joists right there being so far away from the end wall, they would just splinter like toothpicks. So we would end up having to sister every single one of them, put like 2 or 3 ply on them, and go that direction. But that wasn't to say that things weren't going to go wrong further upstream, first floor, second floor, and so on and so forth by doing that. So we had actually, after thinking about it all, we decided to try and get it as close to the wall as possible. In that case, it's going to be going from the chimney all the way outside the wall. And that also allows us to get that end one at the very end. I reduced it to 1. So we have 2 beams that go together, and we were going to lap them together so we make one continuous beam. But after doing some research and stuff like that, we can't do it. You can only do it in a place where there's no moment, a zero moment. And that the only place we have a zero moment is like all the way over on one side, and it's just, that's not even a good place to do it. So we're going to be using 2 beams. So then the next thing is that, well, we are going to cut the beams. You know, our space is not 28 feet long. So we're going to have to cut them. One of the things that we were told to do at the very beginning is that to make sure where the 2 beams come together, you know, end to end, is that we make sure that there's a pole there. So that's how it was engineered. It was engineered originally to have a pole right where the 2 come together end to end. That's all fine and good and dandy and all, but the problem is that with having two beams there and only one pole, I'm kind of like leery on, you know, how am I going to get this all to come when I lift up one end? If I lift up one end, this end doesn't want to go up, and then of course the other beam doesn't want to go up. We ended up having to decide we got to get two bottle jacks. We can't just use one. That's okay. We'll go down and get two. We're going to go down and grab another one. And then I also decided, you know, this is only a one-time shot, and you got one pole, little, maybe 6 inches, holding these LVL beams up. I think I would feel more comfortable putting a second pole in. So where the two meet end to end, we will actually literally have two poles, one at each end of those. So that way we can actually, they will be working independently, but they will be together. And we are going to still connect them together. We're just going to be making sure that there are two poles, one underneath each and every LVL beam at every end. So that's going to be 4 poles now. And since that is the middle, that is our biggest capacity. So that biggest capacity, we'll need to make sure that, you know, it's a good pole. It's a heavy duty one as well. I think. Probably. Oh, maybe not. I'm thinking if the other one's already a heavy duty one, and this one's going right next to it, that other one's going to take most of the load anyways. What do you think? Hunt. So if we have the two beams that are connected end to end, now on the longer side, the side that's actually more or less being jacked up, we're going to have the stronger pole underneath there, the heavy duty one. Because it's able to carry 20,000 pounds. The ones on the two ends, I forget what they carry, but I want to say that they carry 14,000 pounds. It's either 12 or 14. Do I need another 20,000 pounder next to that 20,000 pounder? Or do you think we could get away with just putting a 14,000 pounder there? Considering that one beam is...
Get the regular one.
That's what I was thinking. We could probably just get the regular.
Literally only like this far.
I know. I think we're okay there. The other thing is that
more or less it's just going to be...
Do you want to get a 20,000 pounder for the corner that we're lifting? So we could just take the jack that we're going to, the post that we're going to use there, and put it over there, and put the 20,000 pounder there, just to. It's going to be pushing the most. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to be picking up another 20,000 pound pole, screw jack, and that's it. So we're off to Lowe's. That's where we're getting it from. And then we're gonna go out to the farm, and I'm gonna start looking at everything. And I will catch you in just a couple seconds, I guess, for you. Bye-bye. All right, we're at the farm. So you can see we're here, all the wood there. I'm just kind of going through all of these. So here, it tells you what kind of LVL beam we have. Each one is 1 3/4 inches thick. They're 11 7/8 tall. And it's 3-ply. So this is the beam, the brown part. These are all the points and stuff of where the bearing is. It tells us exactly where our beams are going to be, or posts are going to go. So to the edge of the post, basically 1.5 feet to this one, it's 11'2" to the center of this one, and then to the end of this one is 5'1 3/4. Now this area right here, this is where the chimney is. So then down here, it gives us our bearings and stuff. We got our live, our dead, and our snow bearings, and how much it's going to be on each post. 3 being the one next to the chimney. As you notice, there's hardly any. And then here, it gives us our totals. So these are the total loads that are going to be on there. First one, 7,900. We got almost 14,000, and then almost 2,000. Now the post for this one is capable of holding 20,000 pounds. This one is 20,000 pounds. This one's 14,000 pounds. I believe that's right. If not, I'll explain it later on when we get down there to show the actual stuff. This goes through and tells you the allowable, the location where it's at, the actual. So as you can see, we are way below what the actuals and allowables are. So that tells us we're capable of doing this. We're going to fasten all the piles with 2 rows of 10D 3-inch long nails, 12 inches on center. So if I come back up here, you see all the black dots. These would be considered the nails. So we nail on one side every 12 inches. This side, you got to stay 2 inches from the edge and no more than 6. So we're going to go start like around 4. And then in between each and every one of these is where we nail from the back side. So that gives you a little bit how that works. And then the next load and stuff. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Again, I think it just goes through. It's more on what first floor, second floor, roof. I made sure that they knew that we were going to be putting solar panels on top. So we had to make sure that they included that in on the weight and stuff. So that's kind of like what we have here. And this is like, if I go to like number 1 right here, it tells me it's a uniform load type. Top load, because these will be standing up. Dead load will be 15 pounds per square foot. Live load is 40 pounds per square foot. No snow load or wind load is being calculated into this for the first floor. Exterior wall, it goes through. And that's number 2. That's right here. And that's all these are. It's just telling you, this is just showing you basically where we are as far as, you know, the higher up you go this way, the more load it is. So if I go to number 5 and 4, those would be the biggest ones. 20, oh, well, maybe not. I don't know. And 50. So the load for the solar panels is 50 pounds per square foot, per linear foot, I'm sorry, PLF. Roof is 20 pounds per square foot. Exterior wall, 80 pounds per linear foot. So on and so forth. So I wanted to show you that. And let me just tell you, don't go, you can buy LVL beams at Lowe's or Home Depot and order them and stuff like that. But let me just tell you, the cheapest way to go is to find a place that actually sells to Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff. This one, my son works for Snaggly Forest Products, who just got bought out. So, but there's Mesta Wood, that's the manufacturer of these. They're in Minnesota. I think MI is Minnesota. So, I mean, look around for a place that actually does them, because you'd be surprised how much cheaper. We bought a 24-foot, so 3-ply. That was actually 2 beams, one 18-foot and one 10-foot. And the total cost was like, I want to say $187 was for the LVL. And that's not bad, considering how much Lowe's wanted. Lowe's was going to be in around about the $500 range. So here we go a little bit more into detail. Just telling you the minimum end distance not to exceed 6 inches. Goes through and it says the yield limit. This is total is 163.7 per linear foot is what's going to be put onto this beam. And then they also give you this. These are for the LVL, and it just kind of goes through. I printed this all out so I can take a look. There's a lot more here than what you need. Bearing information, how to put the flanges on, how to put them together. This is what we're doing right here. So, to make sure that we got the full bearing on it. Connection of multiple pieces. And here they explain to you. This one says to use 3.5-inch nails. For this one, it's 3 inches, also fine. And it goes through and explains to you how to put them together. You can actually put holes into this beam. And then explains to you exactly where the holes can be located at. And if you need to run, you know, piping or something, don't ever do that. You don't notch this beam. And it goes through a little bit more and explaining this is what we're doing. So, a minimum of 2 inches from the edge. So, we're going to be 2 inches from the edge. But what we're actually we're 2 inches up from all edges. We're going to be doing this one. And this one is, you go 3 inch, every 12 inches, one at top, one bottom. But then on the opposite side, it's the different, I guess it is more like this. One on this side, one on that side. And that's the way it's going to sit. And this is just some girth beam size tables, windows and doors and headers. Explaining you the roof loadings, more windows, doors, and garages, more windows, doors, and garages, more windows, doors, and garages, more windows, doors, and garages. I know there's a lot there. Let's see, I think that's all scarf cuts. You can actually cut it at the top if you need to. That would be for roofs. This goes through all the beams and headers and what the loads are and stuff like that, and I think that's about it. So our main thing that's it, is knowing where to put these located at. So the 6 3/4, the 11'2", and also the 5'1 3/4. So we got to go downstairs and figure out where those actually are and where it lies and stuff. I'm going to take a look, and I'll take you along. I'm seeing what we all have here. This is the day before. We're going to jack this up. We're going to jack it up tomorrow. So I just want to go through one last time and checking everything of what we are to expect. Right upstairs. So this is that being the main house. This all that I'm standing in is the addition. As you notice, we had to rip out all of the drywall, and it goes all the way back into the bathroom. So take a look and see how the addition was actually put on. But this is what we have. So now all of these and the top ones, they're only toe-nailed in. They're toe-nailed into the wood siding. So what we ended up doing is we put in, we had an older one which was nice, but we put in a double 2x4, we put those together. We shelved underneath all of these, and then we put hurricane straps on it so it wouldn't pull away. I should actually show you that right there, that corner thing, that is the chimney. So it's going to go from the left of that chimney all the way over to the very corner of the bathroom in there. So I'm just kind of like checking things out, making sure. Here's a really good example of what we got going on. See how it's already pulled down away at the top? That's from it sinking. The bottom's still up against it, but the problem is when we start lifting the house, the top will not go back up in if there's a nail there, but it will sit there and it'll pull the bottom out. So that's why we put the shelf underneath. And we hurricane strapped all of them to keep them from pulling away. Here's another example. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going through, just checking. Darren had originally put in some screws, and I had him go in and start removing the screws, put nails in. These ones, it also had these rafters going across like this one. We removed them. They were like this. It made for this area to be very, very low. Couldn't walk. Ceiling's very low. So we are, here's a thing, but we put that one on, didn't we?
What?
That,
the new ones are, yeah.
Yeah, the beam.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to take those off, what we ended up doing is we added a new joist and right up next to this one. And by doing that, we can actually remove these now. But we're not going to remove those until we jack. I just want to keep track of everything. And there's the corner. And that's, as you see, is sitting on top of a 2x4 there, so I think we're okay there. That's the roof line up at the top. So we're keeping this all exposed. We're not, that's why we haven't done anything in this bathroom. As you can see, it's just storage right now. We did get it insulated. We got the vent right there. Shower is just basically torn out right now. It'll be completely torn out. By doing the two up here, we were able, they had bracing that went from that end straight across and into here. So that's what I wanted to get rid of, and it literally, my head was touching the top. So we sistered all of these to take on the load. Now this is only what, 1, 2, 3 rafters plus the end, but the end is fine. So 3 rafters is all we're doing this to, and it's only at the very end. So I think we're going to be okay. Down at on the back there, I will put a 2x4 going all the way across there as well, just to help take some of the load off and stuff. But as far as doubling up all the rafters, that allowed us to remove the other ones to keep it from coming back towards us. So, but that's where we're at. There's our all ceiling towel, drywall, original B-board. This is from back in the 40s. That's when the addition was put on, is in the 40s. That's where the medicine cabinet was. This is how the lights were put together. What a disaster area. There was no tape on it. We added the tape, by the way. So, the wiring on this side is fairly new. Well, it's not knob and tube, so that's good. Because the addition, again, it was put on in the 40s and stuff, and I think they added some. We've added in some ourselves. We added this in. If you remember right, there used to be a plate on there. Actually, there was a switch on this, right? Or an outlet.
No, there was nothing. There was just a blank here, remember?
Oh, there was a blank there, but there was nothing there. There was no wiring. There was a wire, but it wasn't hooked up to nothing. It was just hanging in there. We added that one. That's going to be for the computers. We need to add some over in here. That's a terrible job.
I didn't do it.
I know. But, I mean, that's where we're at. We kind of painted all the way to that point, so. And we'll have to finish up the roof in here, the ceiling, once we get this all done. But, I think we're okay. Everything looks okay here. Wow. We painted in here. Well, Darren painted, not we. Darren. I shouldn't say we and take the credit. And he's already started spackling that area there. Color in here is gray.
Looks kind of purplish.
It does look a little purplish. But this is the boys' room. Oh, and he fixed that. That was a disaster down in there. But he tore that all out and fixed that up. I think it looks a lot better in here. Kids in here playing their games. Okay, so I think the second floor is okay. So now we're gonna look up here. See, these didn't come off at all. That's because they put in a board.
If anything happened, that might have tipped out.
Yeah, I know. And it did.
So,
If you look straight on that, it has tipped up. Maybe not as much there as I can see it from over here. This was the plumbing for the vanity upstairs that we removed. And again, if I'm looking, and I'm gonna look upside down here, guys. I think it's okay.
yeah, we'll put that over here because that's why the edge is there because of that cutout.
Well, this is a separate board right there. You can see right there it's been...
Mm-hmm.
I think think that's okay. Over here, I don't have to worry too much.
Some new nails once we're done up top, but if we, I want to take.
Those are going all into the into the studs and stuff over
Oh,
there.
yeah, that goes, that's fine.
So this side, this is the corner right there that's being lifted. So this, you should see they got the floor joists are on also a, what is that, a 1x6, and they also are nailed into the studs. And the nice thing about the studs is that it looks like they go all the way up.
Yeah, they do.
These are balloon walls. That's why you were able. I was able to go up, and you were able to see all the way up to the second floor, all the way through the balloon walls. Okay. That's gonna have to. That's gonna go up. That's the big one. Window.
I'm just gonna take all the panels out tomorrow, and that way we won't have to worry about anything.
What panels?
The window panels.
Just open it.
We'll take them clear out.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
All right.
They come out, you know, both sides movable on all these. So
But are you going to be able to get them back in?
I'll need to straighten the frame if I can't. I don't want them twerking and busting the glass. That would cost more than straightening the frame.
Yeah, that's true. So you just got to do... I don't think you have to worry about this window for the kitchen or even that one for the bathroom. I think the... No, you won't, because...
Bathroom.
Well, that's all lifting directly. That one over there, it's definitely on an angle. You can see it.
Yeah. It's all coming out anyways.
Oh, I guess I can see that's on an angle too if you look up at the top.
I'll just take them out. It takes a minute.
So,
A minute at a time versus $300.
well, maybe that's not on an angle. Look at that.
Yeah.
This is shorter than this, but the window isn't moving. It's the wall that moved. This is the point in which we're just going to keep. This is the chimney. I wonder if I can look down in there and see if I can find the... There was a cover on this and Darren pushed
Right
it
out there now.
all the way down. It's all the way down. So that all looks okay. I think we're going to be okay there. Just checking stuff here. Let me go outside here, hon, and I'm kind of wondering if we should remove that and unbolt it.
Nah, it's fine. It's attached to the house itself, so.
Yeah, I know. Is that going to cause problems when we try to lift?
No, it'll help it. It just helps to give it extra strength. It's like a double seal right there.
All right. Let's head downstairs. So look one more time down there. I just want to double check it all. To say that I actually double checked it all.
Alright, I don't know what happened. I'm not sure how far it went, but it kind of stopped on me. So we got a beam going across. It's being held up by these 4x4s. That's because the back side of this isn't really holding on to anything right there, is it?
No.
So that's only down here. That back side is not really onto anything.
Supposedly nailed into what's on the other side, but
This is where we have. This is the corner right here that's being jacked up. So we got that first pad. Oh, and you filled in some of the dirt. You got the second pad. You got the third pad right up next to the chimney. So this is what's being jacked up. The wall's not going with it, just the beams are going up. We'll figure out the wall afterwards. We'll have to put in something, but right now we need to get the house up. We're going to go ahead and knock out those 2 blocks.
speaking of words.
And that way you could go outside. I know what we forgot, flashing. But that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. This is what's going to happen tomorrow. Darren and I are going to go ahead and get started on pumping it and pushing out this block. We just got a masonry saw blade to go onto the power saw. We're just going to cut them out. Alright, I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you back in a little bit.